Hey people, hope you had a brilliant weekend. I'm back. Seeds of Wisdom. I think this is video 45 in the series. I know you can't see my face great, but I wanted to sit down for this one. So, um, reflecting on the 45 odd videos I've done, the first kind of two were quite personal, as in talking about myself. I was just getting going. I've tried to share a bit of myself in each video, but majority of them I think, and this for me so many, I just kind of do them and not really think about them. But yeah, trying to analyze what I've done without going into too much detail. Evening Nana, um, enjoyed your Facebook Live, couldn't get off it. I think I joined about half an hour in, and then an hour and a half later it came off. But no, it was very entertaining, very valuable entertaining in terms of the engagement you had with the fellow participants. But yeah, I'm on here now. So yeah, kind of brief look back on my Facebook lives, kind of analysing them. Been very not generic, but stuff that's been on my heart, and I believe I've added value. They've been of use. But the next two videos, today and tomorrow, are gonna be a bit more personal, a bit more about my life. I've got lots of my life to share, and been kind of saving that for the stage at some point. I don't know actually what format, what platform, but this one tonight I've been thinking about for a while, and then it was actually Nana's Facebook Live with his stupendous memory. Remembered a comment I made about sharing some more of my story at some point, and he reminded me of it. And this particular one has been on my mind for a few days, and he kind of yeah, by making that comment, kind of said, yeah, right, I'm going to do this. Tomorrow's video is going to be about breakups, and as I talk about breakups, the inspiration for tomorrow's video is just come on. Karim, how you doing, sir? Now, Karim, ages ago, yeah, you posted a question. I think I asked about suggestions for future Facebook Lives, and you talked about relationships. And I've been keeping on saying I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And tomorrow I'm going to do it. I was going to try and do the two tonight. So I said to Nana, I'm going to do Facebook Live tonight about my dad. But Karim, I couldn't remember exactly what you wanted me to cover on the relationships. I had to trawl back through all my videos, and I found it, and it was about to do about breakups. And I'm not gonna. It wouldn't be wise to mix the two together. In terms of my life and with my dad, and my life with breakups. So it's gonna be a two-parter. So exclusive, first time I've done it. I'm telling you what's coming tomorrow. So today is about my dad. Tomorrow is going to be about breakups, and two very close subjects to my heart. Haven't got the time to go through everything, so just kind of like a snapshot. And I hope you guys can take something from it. That's the main thing. Been both subjects very deep and painful journeys for me, but I'm on the other side, and I just pray that anyone who's watching this can take something from it. So right, so yeah, dad, fatherhood. Where do I start? I'm gonna keep this one brief, and bearing in mind, I've got other people in my life who've been affected by this. I'm gonna be careful. I'm gonna be careful what I'm saying, because I've got a responsibility doing these Facebook Lives, that I don't want to bring other people in unbeknown, and people have got different feelings about this. So I'm just going to talk about it from my perspective. So yeah, my dad is my dad. I don't know him. He left. I don't know exactly when, but I've got one vague memory of him in my childhood, of my old house. I lived with my family, and we was watching. I think I was watching Top of the Pops in the black and white TV in my mum's or in their bedroom, and that's the only memory I have. As far as I know, he wasn't around when my youngest brother, blood brother, was born, and he was born when I was 4 or 3.5. So, yeah. So he came out of my life when I was 3 or 4. I don't remember anything else about him. To try and summarise, I saw him 10 years ago, and I actually spoke to him last Saturday, I think, or last Friday. And I've been trying to speak to my dad for a while, on and off, and I haven't had joy with telephone numbers. He lives in Ghana, kind of put it perspective, so trying to get the right telephone number for him or what have you. And when I actually spoke to him, after that call, I actually contacted my auntie. He's been a massive help in getting me contact details. And I actually said, um, I think I spoke to my dad, but I don't actually know if I did speak to my dad because I didn't, I don't recognise his voice. And the last time I saw him, he was very, very, very ill. So he seemed quite, he didn't come across that way on the phone. So I said to her, "Is this? I know you said this is the number, but I just want to confirm this is the number because I think I spoke to my dad, but I'm not sure." And she said, "Yes, it was." So I actually spoke to him. So it was a bit surreal actually speaking to him after trying to get hold of him, and after um, 10 years to the year of actually seeing him. Um, so yeah, my dad hasn't been around in my life at all, and it's affected me as it would affect any person who doesn't have a dad in their life. And I remember my friends talking about their dads, and there was never a conversation that I could enter or participate in. They never asked me about my dad. I think they knew my dad wasn't around, and that was just the way it was. Um, but yeah, like I say, with them talking about dads, it was just a conversation I could never have with them. And my um, kind of what's the word, um, philosophy, not a grand as word of that, but that's the only word I can think of at the moment. My philosophy is that I never had it. You can't miss what you haven't had, and I always saw it as it would be worse for me to have a dad in my life. For those who had dads in their life that they can remember, and then they come out of their life, I think my opinion was that was always worse than not having a dad at all. I couldn't know what I missed or have him there, and then for him to go and for me to be yearning for him. Did I miss having a father and figure in my life? Most definitely. Most definitely. On the practical side of things, shaving, all that, do you know what I mean? All that stuff that fathers can provide for their children. And I'm very, very, very passionate about this perception about fathers, especially young, black fathers, not being around, not caring. There's an element of truth in that. I am not naive. My father is a perfect example of that. There's no smoke without fire, as they say. Um, so it's definitely an issue, but it doesn't apply to everyone. And many fathers battling to see their children or given that label, which is unfair. But on the same side, I do understand why that perception exists. I'm trying to buck that trend. Hey Josh, how you doing? Good to see you on this video. I'm talking about my dad. We had a little conversation actually about dads in Belfast. So yeah, hope you get something out of this. I was just saying, no, my dad came out of my life when I was about 3, 4. I saw him once 10 years ago. Spoke to him just the other week, and that's it as far as I can remember. Um, I've lost my train of thought. I'll get it back. So yeah, these people have the perception of fathers not being around, fathers not caring, blah blah blah. Yes, it's true to an extent, but there are plenty of fantastic fathers out there that need to be shown more. And I'm like I say, I'm trying to buck that trend with my 3 children and spending as much time with them as possible. I have no blueprint to follow in terms of my own father. The closest I got was my granddad, and then after then was a gentleman called Audie Cummins, who I call my unofficial mentor. He was a father figure to me from like age 18. And that's it really in terms of consistent people in my life to throw. That's it. I have no nothing to go on as such. I'm just trying to, could say I'm winging it as such. If you want to put a jokey side on it, but I feel I'm doing a good job. Always looking to improve, always looking to learn, always looking to find ways I can spend more time with my children and try and balance the other things I've got going on in my life. And ultimately, as me as a Christian, I've got God as a father figure. In the last 5 years, I've brought him back into my life, and that's really helped me um, as well. So yeah, how did I feel about not having a dad? Felt lost. I felt very lost, um, and but blessed at the same time. Although I didn't have two parents growing up, I had one fantastic mother. So I'm definitely feeling grateful for that. And yeah, to backtrack a bit, actually, I do. She did have a partner at one point. He was around for a few years. He was a father figure, and he cared about me, and he did things. He tried to do things. And now I'm talking. Now my uncle, sorry, Uncle Herbert. You've very much played a father figure in my life, taking me to football. You knew I was passionate about football, and even if you didn't, you were passionate, so you probably would have taken me anyway. But just showing an interest in me and taking time, and I know you were a busy man, so I can't. There's people who haven't had even that um, male influence in their life. So yeah, I can't say I haven't had any, but that main consistent father figure, no, never had it, never would have it, probably more than likely. Um, so yeah, felt like I missed that massively. Felt I missed that massive hole in my life. Felt lost as a man. Um, what am I supposed to be? Who's the role model? Who do I look up to? Very, 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 very lost. And coupled with that, a lot of anger. There's a very, very, very angry person, shy person, but a very angry person. I used to have temper tantrums, but very angry at the situation. Anger towards my dad, because as far as I knew, the story was that he left. Um, like I say, and that was it. There's more to that story. There's more that I don't even know about, and it's kind of got to the stage where I know what I know, and I don't need to know anymore. If it reveals itself to me, then fine, but I don't need to know anymore. When I coupled with that anger, I was very can't always wanted to know the truth, righteous in a sense, wanted to know the truth, what was going on behind the scenes, blah blah blah. And like I said, now I don't need to know everything about the situation with my dad and my mum and blah blah X, Y, and Z. But yeah, massive hole in my heart, in my life, and whatever he was doing, whatever his life was, whatever his mentality was, um, it affected me and affected my brother and sister. And these fathers, they need to recognise this, the effect that you're having by having children, and then just leaving them thinking they're going to be alright with a mother. They need your input in their life. At the end of the day, you brought them into this world, and people say, "Oh, how can they do that? How can they have a child and then just carry on like nothing exists?" I can see why people can do that, just switch off, out of sight, out of mind. Um, if you choose to shut yourself on from that, I can see that very easily. If you're going off having fun, not dealing with the responsibilities of bringing up a child, and leaving someone else to do with it, and as far as you know, you hear the child is healthy, the child is well, I can see why they can. You know what I mean? We're all selfish at the end of the day as human beings, whether you like to admit or not. We all think of ourselves first. I think of myself as a very giving person, and at the end of the day, I'm selfish. We are all selfish as human beings. That's what we are. That's why we do things we shouldn't do and put ourselves. No one can ever say there's no been one point they haven't put themselves first, and it's right to put yourself first in some cases. But by human nature, I'm talking about humans as a whole. We are selfish, and we think of ourselves first. So I can see how fathers will just run around, do their thing, have their cake and eat it, and all the rest of it. But there there is an after effect to that. Even if you don't see it, even if you don't choose to deal with it, you are leaving behind a trail. And I'm fortunate I've come out on the other side. I'm a man standing on my own 2 feet, supporting my wife, my family, my kids, being as the best son, brother, cousin, uncle I can be. Not getting it completely right, because juggling all those things, there's always balls that are going to drop, but doing the best I can and knowing who I am and loving myself. So I've come out on the other side, but there are some who don't come out on the other side. Some of them who I'm always fortunate that I knew I had access to being in the wrong crowd, but for whatever reason, I think it was part of my shine. I was just too fearful of getting in. I never went down that route of the bad crowd, the gangs and whatever. I did bad stuff, don't get me wrong, but not to that degree, gang and the gang, or the typical, um, what would be seen as my life could have been or should have been like, ending up in a young offenders prison. And I've been to prison in terms of I've visited people, young offenders with my church. We used to do my old church services, and yes, there were young black um, guys in there who didn't have a father figure in their life. That's what I'm saying. There is no, there is smoke. The saying "there's no smoke without fire" is true in this instance, and this is the trail that a lot of fathers are leaving behind, and they're just carrying on their business. And some of them may have been treated the same by their fathers, but I've done a video on this before. You can buck the trends, you can cut the family cycle. I've done that. I've done that. I'm married, God willing, to be for the rest of my life to the same lovely lady. I've got 3 children. I'm bucking the trend of what has happened to me beforehand. So I was very, very angry at my dad. Why is he leaving? Why has he left my mum like this? Blah blah blah, this and that, what have you. Um, I think I remember my mum saying that, because I never spoke to my mum. I just thought that it was just one of those subjects that I couldn't broach with her, and I'm sure if I did ask her, she would be fine. But it just, for me, I just, yeah, it was just, it was what it was. She was my mum. She loved us. She brought us up, and dad wasn't around, and that's it. Even for me to say the word dad has significant, because I am a dad now. I'm used to hearing, but even still, when I hear my kids calling me dad, daddy, daddy, it's something in my head with that word, those 3 letters. Just is so much for me. A story behind 3 letters, and 2 of them are the same, D. um, yeah, there's just so much behind those 3 letters for me. So when I hear that, it's the meaning of it's changed. Obviously, like I said, being a dad myself, but yeah, it has a yeah, it's played a major factor in my life. Those 3 words, or not using those, sorry, 3 letters rather, not being able to use those 3 letters in every day. I remember my mum saying that my dad was a very talented journalist, and then he got mixed in with the wrong crowd and blah blah blah, and that could happen to anyone. So I can be angry at him all I like, but that can happen to the best of us. Getting in the wrong crowd, it can happen. We're human. But at the same time, I just could not understand why he would do this to us. And then I found out in my mid 20s, and it came as a surprise. Basically, someone was talking to me and thought I knew I had 5 half brothers and sisters, and I didn't know. And then all that righteous anger came out of me again. But why was no one telling me? So yeah, in my 20s, I found out I had 5 half brothers and sisters, and let's put it this way, I don't know if there's any others, but like I said, I'm done with all that trying to find out the truth and blah 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 with this. So I have a relationship with my 5 brothers and sisters. They are wonderful. They are amazing people. I just wish I knew about them when they were younger. But hey, you can't. What's done is done. I love them all dearly, and they're fantastic people. But that's the trail that my dad left behind. So, right, that's kind of a summary. Fast forward or backwards, whatever you want to think back. 2006, I've gone to Ghana for the first time. My family's from Ghana. That's where my heritage is from. I've never been there, never spoke the language, always wondered why. There is a generational thing behind that with, I believe, that a generation of parents did wanted the children just to learn English because of and not learn Ghanaian. There's many languages within Ghana, Tree, Fanti, Ga, etc. They didn't want to learn that because it felt that it would hold them back. Now, some of you might be jumping in and saying, questioning them, well, we live in a bilingual, multilingual world. Now, the more languages you know, the better. It's very easy to do that, but sometimes we've got to look on the other side and try and understand, even if we don't understand or we don't agree with it, try and understand where that other person is coming from and try and put ourselves in those shoes. Why would a generation of parents think that way for the children, and it wasn't for bad reasons. I'm sure they did it with good intentions. They wanted the children to get on. They wanted them to learn English. They wanted them to learn the mother language because it felt with hand back. Well, why did they think like that? Instead of jumping up and down like I used to do, rah 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 rah, try and think, put the shoes on the other foot. But after all that rah 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 rah, and for me, I actually found out that my mum was teaching me how to speak tree, and apparently I was quite good at it. But I didn't speak properly till I was 4, so my dad felt that by trying to teach me 2 languages would confuse me. I take a different view. I think children at a young age are like a sponge, and the older you get and the more ingrained you think that it's harder to learn languages. My personal opinion, not impossible, but harder. I think it's easier to do it when children are younger. At the same time, I can understand what my dad was saying to a degree. So that was the reason why I never learned the language, and then that's another memory of my dad that my mum shared with me. So yeah, like I say, 2006, going to Ghana for the first time. Don't speak the language. I don't speak English, and had no intentions of going to see my dad. I was going there for 2 weeks just to see where my family are from, and see my roots and everything like that. Unbeknown to me, in the second week, cut a long story short, I ended up in a taxi going to see my dad. Totally unplanned. I didn't know anything about it. Had all this anger inside me, all this anger, rawness, and I saw him, and he was, he got, like I said, he got into the wrong crowd, and health-wise it affected him, and now he's a very ill man. And I saw him, I saw how sick he was, and all the anger just came out of me. How can you be angry at a sick man? How can I have a rational conversation with a sick person? Dad, why did you leave me? Dad, blah 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 this. Dad, blah blah blah. And the man, he can't answer me because he's ill. What's the point of having the anger? It just all came out from me. At that point, it just all came out with me. And as a Christian, a practicing Christian, I believe in forgiveness, and that we all do wrong, we all do slip out. Doesn't mean we should hold it against him, that person, for the rest of their lives. And if I'm going to do that, like Jesus says, him without sin cast the first stone. He's a sinner, I'm a sinner, the next man is a sinner. And God doesn't grade sin higher or lower. Yeah, he's done what he's done, I've sinned, and what I've done is sin. So from that Christian perspective, I need to be able to forgive my dad. And I have forgiven my dad. Didn't come easy to me, didn't come straight away. But that seeing him had a big part of it in terms of the anger. I can't have my questions answered by him. I never will be, probably, because he's sick. He can't answer me rationally. He probably can't remember. So that anger usually affects, if you're angry at someone, whatever, it usually affects you more than the other person. And that anger, if I had kept hold of it after seeing my dad who's ill, he couldn't give me answers I want, I could have been going down the same route as him health-wise. So what was the point? What was the point? So I had to let go. For me, I had to let go. And now I don't feel any anger to him at all. Like I said, I don't know the whole story. I don't know the whole story of my mum and my dad and whoever else. So, but at the end of the day, it's done. My mum survived. She's still here. Do you know what I mean? So what was the point? So that anger went from me, and then kind of like from there, conversation last. I wrote to him actually. I think just after I got married, I just wrote to him, sent a few pictures of the kids, tried to keep some form of just communication, try and build some sort of relationship. But there's no relationship there. Even after speaking to him, there wasn't really any conversation. So I don't see myself picking up the phone to my dad every week and saying, "Hey, how you doing, Dad?" and blah blah blah, this and that. I may contact him by post and just let him know about the children. But that relationship is what it is basically non-existent. So yeah, and me talking about this is very different to me if I talked about this 20, 25 years ago, would have been a completely different video. When you look back on things, they so Kareem is saying, warm-hearted Christian, so good hearing this. Thank you for sharing this personal story, buddy. Not a problem, not a problem. And that's it. It's my story. It's my personal story. And like I said, my brothers and sisters will probably have a totally different perception on this. And like I say, I hope I said at the beginning, I want to just, I didn't want this to, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I know what I'm trying to say. I don't have to put it across. They've got their own journey with my dad, whatever. I feel for me, I can share this because I hope someone can learn from this. But and obviously I talk about them. I don't want to talk. It's not right to talk about them in detail and what have you. So because they've got their own viewpoints and what have you, I can only talk about from mine. And sorry, just got low battery on my phone. I'm going to move to a new area. The light is not going to be great, but you can still hear my voice. The lighting is non-existent. So don't envision staying on here too much longer. One, because of the lighting, and two, because I've shared most of what I've had to share. Technology. Alright. Let's bring in some laptop lighting here. Apologies now, it is awful. Hopefully you'll find value in just hearing my voice as opposed to the non-existent lighting. So yeah, that's kind of it with my dad. It's just kind of like, I don't really feel I've got much more to say on it really. Like I said, maybe if I did this video 25 years ago, it would have been different. It would have been before I was a father. Where I am in life now, the fact that I'm married now. A feeder. A feeder from Woodbury Downs School, my old primary school. If it is, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. You're probably best to watch one of my other videos if you're watching what I'm doing half in the dark, talking about my dad. But yeah, watch some of my videos or YouTube, and kind of see why I'm doing these Facebook lives. Trust me, not just for the fun of it. I've just been talking about my relationship, or my non-relationship with my dad, to try and help others basically. Not about me standing up with the rooftops bragging. It's definitely not a subject I'm bragging about, but just trying to help someone else who's perhaps experienced some of what I experienced, or feels like they may experience what I've experienced. So yeah, if we're gonna wrap it up, if someone is watching this who hasn't had a dad in their life, or had multiple father figures in their life, what can you take away from this? Probably the main thing is that it doesn't have to end there. You can still have your life. You can still be a father and be a fantastic father, even if you haven't had a father around. It's not the end. Just because you haven't had your father doesn't mean you can't be a great father. I don't think it can give you an excuse to be a bad father. I've never even entertained that thought that I'm going to be a bad father because I haven't had a father, or I'm not going to be a father at all because my dad wasn't around. No excuse. That's him. I'm me. Yes, it does have an effect. I'm not discounting that, but it doesn't give me an excuse to treat my children the way my father has treated me. So that's kind of two things. What else can you take away? I'm going to leave it at that rather than search for things. Yeah. So one is you've seen a man here, David Daniels. Life is good for me. Life is good. Life has got challenges. Don't get me wrong, but life is good. I'm married, got 3 children. I've struggled without having a father. I've struggled. I've been crippled with shyness, and I come out on the other side. And life is good for me. And life there's more to come. But if my life was to end today, I thank God for the life I had. I thank God for the wonderful people who've come into my life. Um, I've always felt that there's more within me. I haven't reached the heights that I've wanted to do. I'm a man striving for excellence, and but I've got to be content with where I've gone, and I've made massive strides. So, and I never saw all this 20, 25 years ago. So if you're looking at me and thinking I can never achieve, or I can never be where he's be, just, even if you can't see it for yourself, just keep going, and one day you'll look back. Keep a journal, write these feelings down, and one day look back, and God willing, hopefully you'll see, wow, I have, moved on, I have achieved, or I am in a place where I never thought I'd be. It's because it's funny, when you reach that place, you do start to kind of start taking it for granted. Um, People moan about, oh, cheers, Josh. My second cousin, is it Josh? My cousin's son, yeah, second cousin, said, proud to say we're related. Good talk. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing this so people can get value, and this is go for a pain. We always wonder, why am I going through all this stuff? But I'm starting to recognise the pain we go through, and we all go through pain and struggle, even if we've got loads of money, even if we don't have to worry about jobs and blah blah blah. There are different challenges for people, and it's about overcoming those challenges or living through those challenges and then sharing it with people. Yeah, I think it's second cousin Josh. Yeah, it's about sharing so other people can learn. I love autobiographies because there's people, the people, real life, what they've been through, not just what they've learned, of the theory of this or the theory of that. I mean, I can talk a good. Yeah, no. I've got dodgy lighting. This is my charger. Let me just move back. I know it's off-putting to some people. There we go. Back in the light. Yeah, I can talk as good as anyone. You probably see from my live videos, some of them, I talk a good game. What I haven't been as good at, and what I'm starting to address, is the taking action part. And you see quite clearly from Facebook, it's not the most professionally edited, but I'm just doing it for people saying get value. I take that every day. I'll take the dodgy light, and I'll take the people with my upside down videos, rather than the me that I'm used to. Is I would have waited. I wouldn't have done the 45 videos. I would still be thinking about how perfect I can make it, and probably wouldn't got around to doing maybe even one this year. So I'm changing my mind. I know who I am. I know what's good about me. I know what things I need to change, and I'm addressing them. So autobiographies is because it's people, how people have lived out their lives, and I love autobiographies, and I learn far more from that than reading a textbook on how to set up a business, for example, or this and that. Yes, you need theory, but far more. I mean, you need application, and that's where the state education system for me has gone wrong. Not enough is taught about applied life skills, how to budget, how to manage money, how to have a good attitude, how to coach, how to give feedback, excuse me, how to cook. All these practical things instead of the theory side of things. How to change a light bulb, how to fix a tyre on a car. You can throw in a million and one things. Yeah. And yes, you can say your parents are the ones who should be teaching you this, but hey, I only had one parent. You know what I mean? She was busy working. She was busy looking after us. Um, she didn't have the time to do all those things. So she sent me to school. So education is a completely different subject. I'm not going down there. I start ranting and raving. Um, so yeah, for me, this is Facebook Live is a way I can share my message for wherever this is recorded, unless Facebook goes down or blah blah blah, my children could be watching this in the future, and yeah, watch all my videos and hopefully learn something about me, and see that I'm trying to do something different, or learn about the struggles, and just inspire. Yes, that's the thing. Inspire, not even inspire in a fluffy sense of the world. It's just for people, even just to keep someone going. Just say, look, even if I can't be where he is, let me just trust what he's saying and just keep going and going. And there is value, or just keep going, or just keep marching and just keep marching. There are majority of the times I've loved doing this Facebook Live, but there's been a few occasions when I thought, do I want to do Facebook Live tonight? What am I going to talk about? And it's those moments that I need to do the Facebook Live more than ever, because in my past, when things have got tough, my reason why hasn't been strong enough, I tend to give up. And that's an observation I've made about myself. When you do it 3 or 4 times over, there's a pattern. So that tells me my why is not strong enough. With this stuff, my why is big. So, and it's the times when you don't feel like doing it, that you need to do it. Oh, I need to do it even more than when I feel like doing it. Articles and freestyle works for me. Definitely. No, I'm doing these Facebook Lives, like I said, they come to me. There's things that don't come to me, but like I said, the one I've stated what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. I don't usually do that, but relationships is a big thing. And I said I'll talk about my dad, and tomorrow I'm going to talk about relationship breakups and that. And it wouldn't do them justice to try and combine them into one Facebook Live. So part 1 tonight, fatherhood. Part 2 tomorrow, breakups. And again, that's a very, yeah, for most people, I'm not alone in this. Breakups yeah, they're big things to deal with, but we can come out on the other side. And I'll share some of that again. One particular relationship, and I need to, like I say, respect the other person involved. So there will be no names or anything mentioned like that, but just from and there are 2 sides to every story, but I'll be just sharing my side of the story as such, and hopefully you guys can learn something from it. But like I said, life is good. Life is good with me. I'm blessed. I need to take the lessons and the struggles I've had and use that to help others, not just myself. And hopefully tonight it's gone some way to doing that. So Nana, thank you for giving me that final push. I've been thinking about this video for a while, about my dad. I was going to actually do it last, I think, Thursday, but I was rushing to get to bed and I didn't want to rush this one. But yeah, thank you for giving me that push to do it tonight. Kareem, thank you for inspiration for tomorrow's video, and I apologise it's taken a while to bring it, but it kind of ties in nicely, doing this one tonight and then tomorrow. Anyone else got anything they want me to cover? The reason I ask that is because this public speaking stuff, and that's new to me, and it's a skill, and like any skill, it's got to be practiced, it's got to be worked. So I take feedback. Anything you want me to talk about, if it's outside my comfort zone, it might take me a little while to speak about it, but I will speak about it. Karim, I know ages ago, I think it was you or someone else mentioned talking to me about Brexit. I'm going to play it safe on that one. I'm going to wait till like 10 years time or something, and then when all the dust is settled and you can reflect back, and then I'll talk about the Brexit. And then I feel I've got other things more important. Brexit is important, but other things in my life more important to share that I could talk about. So yeah, thank you all for the comments. They mean a lot to me. They mean that what I'm doing is being of some use. And thank you all. Thank you. The one from Josh, my cousin. Yeah, it means a lot, man. It means a lot. Hi Lucy, how you doing? Lucy's just joined. I've been talking about my dad. I'm gonna shoot off, but yeah, hopefully you find time to watch back on this one. This one will be going up on YouTube as well. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. I always read the comments. Always try and reply or like them, not just during the lives, but after the lives as well. So thank you for all that have watched. Breakups. Look forward to that one tomorrow. He says, but yeah, no, I look forward to it because it's happened. and reflection on it, and what could we take and move on with it. So, love you and leave you. The Shy Man is out.